On the 6th of November 1982, President Paul Biya took over the baton of command from the then President Amadou Ahidjo. And this week, Cameroonians celebrated his long stay in power, marking 42 years. Paul Biya, for over 4 decades, have made a lot of promises. He has fulfilled them, but some are yet to be fulfilled. He has equally made a lot of policies, some workable and some not workable. So today we are looking at the promises Paul Biya has been able to make for the over 42 years and versus the achievements he has been able to realize concretely. Plus, on the 6th of November 2024, Donald Trump was re-elected as the President of the United States of America. He's coming in for the second time after resting for 4 years. He comes in to take over from Joe Biden. And we are looking at Trump's election. What does it mean to African leaders? Is Trump coming back as a sweet cream or a sour cream? If you are just joining us, this is 360 Degrees, and we shall be with you for the next 1 hour to get into the real issues of the two topics. You're welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is 360 Degrees, and we are beaming live from our Yaoundé studio. And I have a couple of gentlemen here that will be talking on our two topics of the day. I will begin from my extreme right. Yeah, extreme right, where I have Tumfon Barrister, somebody who doesn't joke with his traditional title, Tumfon Barrister Ndango Kavinta. He is of the Social Democratic Front. He's one of the national legal advisors, and he is equally a NEC member of that political party, which is worthy to be mentioned. The first that break through the caravan of multipartism in Cameroon. You are welcome, Barrister.
Thank you very much.
And to my extreme right as well, I have Dr. Eyong Ta Prince. He's been here before, but it's been long. I think it was December. He's here again today to talk on the pertinent issues plaguing the life of the country. Doc, you're welcome.
Thanks for inviting me. Greetings to the other members of panel. It's a pleasure to be here and to admire your new beautiful studio.
Thank you. And let's go back to my right, where I have Dr. Jules Raymond Fula. He is a militant of the ruling party, the CPDM. Dr. Fula, this is your very first time on my set. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud. I'm glad to be here. Let me congratulate you and congratulate your top management for the wonderful job you are doing here. Let me also greet all the militants, the sympathizers, the followers, the allies of my political party, the CPDM, but mainly and especially our national president, the head of state of this country, His Excellency, Mr. Paul Biya.
Thank you so much. I go back to my right. He's the last but not the least. I have Eugene G. Eugene G is a journalist and publisher of Newswatch. Eugene, thanks for honoring our invitation this time around.
Hyncenth, I should say I'm very pleased to be on your set today. For the very first time that I am on 360 Degrees, and I'm meeting eminent personalities like Barrister Ndangota and Dr. Eyonta and Dr. Jules.
Two doctors.
I feel very honored that I am in the midst of these panelists who I suppose, because I know Eyonta at least, I know Barrister Ndangota, are gentlemen, and we're going to have a conversation and not what we have seen lately on some television stations, including what happened here on Wednesday.
For sure.
So it's a pleasure to be here, and I want to particularly greet the Wimboum community in Yaoundé, who are celebrating the cultural festival called Nderla. I belong to that community, and we started Friday, so we continue at the National Museum tomorrow, Sunday, and I will be joining them later today.
Okay, before we dive into our main topic of the day, I want us to quickly have a view on the election of Trump. Let me just stay with you, Eugene. the electoral process in America this year, did America still stand out as an example of world democracy?
Yes, I think, thank you. I think that America has just shown that it is the world's democracy. Because when you look at what was happening prior to November 5, you understand that it was going to be Kamala Harris of the Democrats were going to just have it on a platter of gold. But it's shown that no, in America, you don't just predict that way. There is some level of democracy, and if you see Biden, who is outgoing president, has called Donald Trump to say congratulations. Kamala Harris, who ran against Donald Trump, has called Donald Trump to say congratulations. And Donald Trump, who is coming in for a second mandate after 4 years of rest, has been asked to come to the White House so that he can have a conversation with Biden, so they have a peaceful transition. When you look at all the events that have been happening, you understand that this is a democracy. Everybody has accepted. It is an election. Even former President Obama said, okay, this was good. The campaign was good. I admire what Harris and the team did, but we accept the outcome of the election. So this is a democracy we are talking about.
Dr. Eyongta, can we say the reign of Joe Biden affected Harris' results? Well, as Democrats?
I think it did so to more than 70%. I am very impressed even and surprised at the same time with her performance. She's charismatic, no doubt. And immediately the Democrats declared her as replacement to President Biden. I already had about 70% chances that she wouldn't make it. Yes, I think the kingmakers of the USA, no matter what people say, are not yet ready to hand over that country to a female. Because contrary to the big name of world democracy, I don't think the US, they have a democracy of the US standard, the US style. Because imagine like what happened during the election between President Trump and Madam Clinton. Madam Clinton won the popular votes. President Clinton won the grand electors, and President Clinton was declared president. And that is their style. Is that what democracy is according to Aristotle or according to the great Greeks? That I think there is that democracy in their system, you know. But what is there is that the American people have chosen. And they choose based on judgment. Because it is not always easy for somebody to leave power and come back after 4 years. It therefore means the person they took the trust from and gave is worse than the person that they had removed. And when that person came back, they had to prefer that person based on the record of the person they had replaced with. Otherwise, there is no way that they would have brought back Trump after he had just left 4 years back. So I think to me, it is the democracy, the American standard, the American way. And that is why we keep crying that even if countries want to copy the democracy that is world standard, there are just principles that need to be implemented. And once you try to do that and put them on that scale, then you can call it your democracy or your own style.
Thank you so much. Barrister, Trump's return, is it a sweet cream or a sour cream for African leaders?
Well, Trump's return has taken so many people, especially the African leaders, by storm. Some of them were not expecting him to come back.
Are you saying that some were praying against his return?
Praying that he shouldn't come back, given the fact that the way he left office was very humiliating. And he even struggled to hold power by force. And people thought that the Americans were going to sanction him for that. But of course, we have seen a different kind of democracy in the United States of America. They have it their own way. And this always shows that it is because in a country like America, we have but strong institutions and not strong personalities, not strong people. And because those strong institutions are there, people are surprised today that somebody with more than how many court charges against could be allowed to be candidate and
eventually becoming the president again.
Elections in the United States of America. But of course, they are working according to their laws, because I know that if the laws had said contrary, he wouldn't have even been a candidate. Having accepted that he's a candidate, of course, there was that possibility that he could win. And that is the game.
Dr. Fuller, how do you foresee the collaboration between Trump and African leaders? Many African leaders know him as a no-nonsense Trump. Is it going to be easy?
First of all, let me congratulate the new U.S. president. You know, the president of... I am surprised by the overjoys of some of our compatriots. The head of state of America is in service of the United States. America first.
Yes.
He don't care about our local, our peculiar, the African and so on. He's there for Americans.
Yes.
And the head of state of this country, His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, I already congratulate him.
For sure.
But let me also congratulate Dr. Ayon. You know, we have so many, so many cries, so many surprises. First of all, Donald Trump is the head of state.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he has the control of the Senate, the higher court, and we have information that he's almost controlling the Congress. And even we're talking about the governors of the countries. You know, the United States is a federal country.
Yeah.
So even the Supreme Court of the United States now is under the control of the Republicans. So we are wondering how will be the future when you are mastering everything. You have 3 wings. Dr. Ayon is there. You have the executive, the legislative, and the judicial under the control of the Republicans. How will be the future? But you know, this is an American matter. What we can only say is to congratulate. But now, for us Africans and other leaders, it's now, as Dr. Ayon said, it's time to copy the good example. To try to learn from what happened there. So we were surprised.
I'm happy you are saying that.
You want to learn. For myself, I have a preference. I cannot hide it.
I'm happy because many CPDM militants have always said we don't have anything to learn from anybody.
No, I cannot hide it. I said I want a preference for the vice president, Madame Kamala. You know, she's a magistrate and she's a lady. So you're supposed to say that having a lady as a head of state could have improved something. Trying to open, how can I say, a new area to other countries. But this is election for Americans. But as I say, as Dr. Ayon said, how can Republicans, they control at the same time the executive, the legislative, and the judicial?
Yes.
How will be the future? How will be the future?
Okay, I'll be coming back to you, Dr. Fuller.
I think I understand perhaps from where Dr. Jules is coming from.
Yes.
He would have preferred Kamala Harris. Myself, all right?
As a woman.
I am not a fan of...
and as a magistrate.
No problem. Don't bring in gender, please. Don't bring in gender. We are just talking. I, for one, I would not prefer Trump because of his utterances. I feel uncomfortable with his utterances, but I'm not an American. But I think that as militant of the CPDM, and knowing that Donald J. Trump is a no-nonsense man. Remember, Cameroon was removed from the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, the AGOA, in 2020, January 2020, under the Trump administration. And it somehow does not go well with the CPDM that Dr. Jules is. And it was stated very clearly that Cameroon has been removed from AGOA over persistent violation of human rights in the country. So they would probably, of the CPDM, not want Donald Trump, who is against the violations, to come in and then when violation of human rights still continue.
Please.
In few seconds.
I'll be coming back to you.
In few seconds.
Yes, few seconds, please.
So many procedures, as the Toujours said, so many procedure injustice. So we are surprised that
that's democracy.
The issue is that his name was cleared and he became eligible to run.
So many procedure
Dr. Ayon, maybe you have the last mic on this because we don't really have time on this. Donald Trump and his immigration policies. Are you one of those who are worried right now?
Well, I am worried, and I have said in one or two places that Donald Trump, for those who know him very well, one of his greatest characteristics is that he's unpredictable. He's an unpredictable person, and he's someone who, at one point, doesn't bother about what he says, especially when it will impact what he wants. And to me, President Trump can sometimes make declarations that you'll be wondering if he actually said them. But that is politics. Remember, in his last mandate, he said he was going to build a wall that was going to separate Mexico from America. That wall was going to build 2%. Not because America lacks money, but because I'm sure at one point
he wanted to prove a point.
Again, there are about 11 million immigrants in the USA. With Africans being a population of about 3 million. Okay? Most of these immigrants, especially the illegal ones that he is targeting, are working for some of the top Americans, especially in the states that are agricultural. There are most of those who do those petty jobs in those areas. It will not be that easy for those persons to let go that aspect. So lobbying comes into play right now as we speak. It is a time for lobbying, diplomatic actions, and also some negotiations.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We shall be coming back to dive into Paul Biya's 42 years, but let's pave the way with these elements that the newsroom prepared this week.
Since the landslide occurred on November 5, this travel agency in Douala has seen a sharp decline in passengers heading to the West region. According to agency staff, there has been a 25% drop in bookings for the route.
Le chiffre d'abord sur cette ligne a chuté.
The number of passengers I recorded throughout the day was very low today. I suggested it might be due to the landslide, as many people are afraid to travel. Normally, I have about 50 passengers heading to Dschang in the morning, but today we had only 35. The situation is similar across multiple agencies in Douala. The atmosphere is tense. The fallout from the landslides continues to unfold. Many travelers are choosing to cancel, while others are reluctant to make the journey. Etienne, who recently bought a ticket for his wife, expressed his concerns.
Lorsque la personne arrive, que tu appelles, te dis que je suis bien arrivé, que le cœur se calme. Sinon, pendant toute la nuit du voyage, on ne dort pas.
With the main route to the West region now impassable, travelers are being redirected to the Melonkekem-Bafang-Bafoussam route. This alternative, however, is presenting challenges of its own. Though recommended by local authorities, it is significantly longer, in poor condition, and more difficult to navigate. Traveling has become challenging. We previously avoided that stretch due to its poor condition, but now the landslide is forcing us to use it again, which will likely damage our vehicles. As agencies prepare for these new challenges, they are also anticipating higher costs to cover the added expenses of the detour. These cost increases are expected to be passed on to travelers, further deterring those hesitant to take the trip. The prices of transportation may increase, particularly for passengers traveling to Baliveng, Dschang, and Bangsua. Although we haven't finalized our decision yet, we are considering a 500 francs increase. Meanwhile, rescue operations continue at the site of the landslide as emergency crew work to clear the debris. While the full extent of the damage is still being assessed, the death toll is rising, leaving many Cameroonians anxious about what lies ahead.
Ce n'est pas notre route habituelle, mais nous on sait que Dieu est avec nous. La préparation, c'est avoir son chapelet, puisque dans mon sac, j'ai mon chapelet et qu'en route, je vais méditer.
As the West region grapples with these devastating events, many are left to confront the uncertainty of what the future holds, not just for the roadways, but for the region's transportation system as a whole. The tragic incident is a reminder of the challenges faced by both travelers and transport companies. While the road to recovery remains long, the impact of this landslide will continue to be felt in the days and weeks ahead.
Today, November 4th, 2024, marks 42 years after the resignation of the first president of the United Republic of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo. It was during the 8 p.m. French language news over Radio Cameroon on that fateful day in 1982 that the president made the pronouncement. informing the people he is resigning from function as president.
J'ai décidé de démissionner de mes fonctions de président de la République unie du Cameroun.
That it will take effect from Saturday the 6th of November, 1982 at 10 p.m. And so it was. Amadou Babatura Ahijo did not just end there. He went further to salute the many years of trust and assistance that helped him accomplish daunting tasks at the head of the state. Then came this appeal. Ahijo calling on Cameroonians to give their full-hearted support to his constitutional heir, Paul Biya.
Mon successeur constitutionnel, Monsieur Paul Biya.
Then, adding he merits the confidence of Cameroon both at home and abroad. He then ushered his fellow countrymen to remain a united people, patriotic, hardworking, dignified and respected, appealing the Almighty God to continue to protect and provide the necessary aid in the development of Cameroon in peace and justice.
Do you solemnly swear before God and man to devote all your efforts to preserving, protecting, and defending the Constitution and the laws of the United Republic of Cameroon, to watch over the common will of the nation, uphold and defend the unity, integrity, and independence of Cameroon fatherland? I do so swear.
Announcement that carried nothing on his decision. This ushered a new era in Cameroon, the period of Paul Biya's president, what Cameroon is living for 42 years now. Cameroonian.
You are welcome back. We want to do our hearts to the families of the victims of La Falaise landslide in Dschang as we come back to the studio to begin the discussions on the 42 years of Paul Biya. Dr. Fuller, I will begin with you. Obviously, you celebrated on the 6th of November. Can we begin by highlighting some of the greatest or the most significant achievements of President Paul Biya, 42 years in power?
I can spend 1 month.
Briefly, please.
1 month if I want to.
Yes.
Sing.
Just go to the key points.
First of all, the traceability of the men.
Yes.
You know, he started when he went back from Europe. He started as a chargé de mission. This is the French word.
Yes.
At the president, he was director de cabinet, cabinet director of the Minister of Education. Secretary General of the Minister of Education, Director of the Civil Cabinet, Director of the Civil Cabinet, Secretary General of the President, Minister of State, Secretary General of the President, Prime Minister, Prime Minister, Constitutional Successor.
Yes.
So you have a traceability.
Yes.
First of all, in terms of administration.
Let's begin the balance sheet from 1982, where he was handed over power.
And then also, politically, he also have a political traceability.
Yes.
Now, when he was there, it was a kind of, let me first of all praise the work done by the first president of this country, Amadou Babatura Ahijo. But the man behind, everybody knew Amadou Ahijo. But when they used to say, French, the disque Jew, the brainstormer was His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya.
Okay.
You know, when you are head of state, you are the decider. But you have collaborators who are inserting the file and send it to you, and then you have the responsibility to take the final decision. Paul Biya was the most talented one. There were so many collaborators. You have Samuel Eboa.
I think we got that point.
Yes,
now, yes, we don't have much time, please.
Thank you. But then you have, in terms of, first of all, democracy. When the first president was there, you cannot, most of us, you don't have the right to go from one region to other region.
Okay.
You don't have the freedom of liberty, the freedom of even faith, the freedom of speech. But nowadays, you have a democracy, you have so many political parties, you have a total freedom. And even, it went further by creating so many institutions now. We have a Senate, we have a Constitutional Council, you have an election commune. Those institutions, among others, I'm sure, are there to improve the democracy of this country.
Okay. I'll be coming back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tumfon Barrister, I saw you nodding your head. Paul Biya, in 42 years, what can you maybe lay your finger on, like his key achievements?
Thank you very much. The only achievement is that he has succeeded to implant himself as president for life, for 40-something years. And a report card of what he has done, Cameroonians are seeing it is on the air. People are seeing on the ground. I will start by, first of all, extending condolences to the bereaved families of the Dschang incident.
Yeah.
Of course, when things start going bad, everything starts going bad.
Just to indicate that, that at this point we don't yet have the exact figures of the victims.
The exact figures, of course, it's not because we cannot have them. They are afraid to publish the exact figures of what has happened in Dschang, just as they have been afraid to publish in any other situation in this country. As I was saying, it is unfortunate that what happened in Dschang is a natural disaster. But some disasters that has been caused by a more than 90-something-year-old person who is in power, and that I hear that Cameroonians were celebrating, and that claiming that he's been the brain behind the former president's behind the former president's successes. If he was the one behind, why has he failed? A country that was handed to him in one block. What is happening to the country today? What is happening in the north? What is happening in the northwest and the southwest? What is happening in the east? It is high time that we start reading the signs. When the former president read the signs on the wall, when he realized that he could no more offer anything, he resigned. He said, no, let me hand it over to some other person who can do better than I can. That was his choice. Mr. Biya was never a politician before he became prime minister. He has never been elected anywhere into anything before he became prime minister. So he was not even a politician. He was made a politician by an appointment of the former president. And we thought that that was going to inspire him so that as he's aging, we thank God for age. God has given him long life for him to be alive. But he's spending most of this time that he was supposed to be relaxing with his family, pretending to be doing government work when he's not doing. I want to tell you that when he was elected in 2018, few months after, he gave a power of attorney to a Secretary General to run in this country. So right now, I don't know whether we were celebrating the achievement of Minister Ngongo or we were celebrating those of Mr. Biya, because we know when he stopped ruling Cameroon.
Okay.
And now it is some other person.
He's still in charge. We see decrees every day from him. Dr. Eyong, were you one of those who celebrated on Wednesday?
Well, I could not have celebrated a ceremony that I'm not directly involved. It was a partisan celebration. Because
when you say it was a partisan celebration, are you in any way saying that the celebration of the head of state is limited to CPDM militants?
That is what it has become, and that is what they made it to be.
It has
because you can only celebrate if a militant of that party invites you. Because they turned it in, they were celebrated first of all in party houses, and they were celebrated under the coordination of heads of delegations, either the permanent, regional, they have some appellation of their heads. So if you look at it well, that is what happened. And then in the areas of celebration, it was the party uniform that was showcased. So that is how, that then at the end of it, motions of support were given as the candidate of the party. So they didn't make it a Cameroonian affair. Therefore, it was difficult for some of us to go there. Even my own friend, Dr. Fuller, did not invite me, so it was difficult for me to be there.
So what will you say about,
in terms
what will you say about the political and democratic evolution under President Paul Biya's reign?
Well, you know, to assess a leader, you do so based on the promises of the leader, or based on the slogans of the leader, or based on what the job entails, the person who is handed the mantle. I would take just his own declarations in terms of what would you like to be remembered for. To me, anything that President Paul Biya has to be judged on should focus on this, because that is what he wants to be remembered on. And which is the first? I would like to be remembered as somebody who has brought democracy to Cameroon. Number 2, I would like to remember as somebody who has brought prosperity to Cameroonians. Let's take the case of democracy. I will give 5 on 10.
Okay.
5 on 10 on the basis that we can pretentiously say that there are so many political parties today in this country, and the evidences are there. We can clearly say that there is freedom of speech to an extent, because we can see that in terms of media houses, the things we say on TV, on radio, and all of that. So we can see an acceptable freedom of speech based on the former. If we go again still on that aspect of democracy, we can see that elections, something like elections, are taking place in this country regularly with some skirmishes.
When you say something like elections, what do you mean by something like
that? Something because they have never gone without skirmishes, without complaints, without people contesting, and without us seeing a lot of problems at the end of the elections, even within the party. So that also produces a problem, but at least it is taking place. Now, if we go to the aspect of prosperity, because there are so many others, I just want to leave it because of our time constraint. So, and that is why I said there is a pass mark for that one of democracy. There's a pass mark. But the pass mark, as I've given to me, is 5 on 10. We go now to prosperity. My mark is 3 on 10.
Okay.
3 on 10 because prosperity is based on what? It's based on 1, the job satisfaction of Cameroonians, the job security of Cameroonians, the aspect of provision of social amenities, that is electricity, water, transport means, telecommunications, just hospitals and schools. These are social amenities that if they are good in the country, prosperity is almost automatic. Let's take the case of, I will begin from nowhere, the roads. We already have a glaring evidence that after our numerous cries and all what people show on TV, a patriarch who tasted the challenges could no longer take it. And he came and made it clear that what are we doing because of what he saw. Trust me, if he did not have that possibility to do that track, maybe he took an aeroplane to Tico Airport if he was functioning, he would have just driven some 2 kilometers and he is in the Mutenyere school. That did not happen because God decided so. Take electricity, the one we have here. I'm hearing some noise in this place as if we are using a jet. We are in Yaoundé, almost at the central town, not far from the presidency. There is electricity problem. You cannot imagine how many people today in Cameroon is about 60% of Cameroonians who have access to electricity, and which is epileptic. Let me take you another case again, which is so fundamental. Take the health aspect. The health aspect is something that if Cameroonians are not healthy, they cannot work. I can tell you that from condition that 70% of our top persons in this country do not go to our hospitals. Not because they are stupid. It's because they know that if they go there, they can die. They know that what is there is not enough to take care of them, so they don't go there. And so that also shows something. Take the case of work. According to international standards, a public service is supposed to have a minimum of 10% of its labor force into the public service. Not all. I say 10%. The Cameroon public service now is not up to 1/10 the labor force of this country. That is the international standard. And that is why we have some of the problem we have. Don't be surprised. You go to some regions, there are some ministries that don't have regional delegations. They don't exist there. You go to the divisional level, there are some ministries that don't have divisional delegations of those ministries. These are facts that can be given. Let's take schools, to the schools.
The last point,
So many schools have been created that there is no dispute. All these regions have state universities. Almost all divisions have at least a secondary school. Primary schools here and there and there. What about the quality? Just in the central region, there is a sub-DO who has written to the governor of the central region that they have closed some schools. I don't want to stigmatize anybody. They have closed some schools in his jurisdiction because of the absence of teachers. And the governor should try and do something about it. If that is happening in Yaoundé, in the central region, picture the situation in Furawa. Picture the situation in Akwaya. Picture the situation in Manodada, somewhere out there, or in Mulundu and Salapombe and so on. So that is just to give you a picture that at the level of prosperity, a lot of work still has to be done.
Okay, we shall get to what needs to be done. Eugene, can we say the media landscape has greatly evolved under Paul Biya's reign?
greatly evolved. I don't want to accept that word from you. You are the one borrowing me. The only thing you would borrow me, I accept is money, and not that word.
Okay.
Yes, there's been some visible improvement in, like you know, the lawyer is here. There's been some visible improvement in the level of expression, and a visible improvement in the pluralization of the media, but there is still that that aspect of freedom of the media that is being held by the regime. Dr. Jules, I will tell you, the regime basks in this issue of we have 700 newspapers, we have 100 television, we have this. But is that freedom? No. What we understand is, yes, Dr. Zhu was saying it that before you could not express yourself. I was not there, by the way, but historical facts don't lie. Yeah. I'm not up to 40, so I was not there when the other president was there. Yeah, sure. But what is certain, what we understand is that there's been some improvement. But behold, I can express myself like I'm talking here. It's very shameful what is happening in the country. I can say that. It's very shameful that somebody is president and a serial election winner for 42 years. It's very shameful that we have the kind of road like one of his friends and a member of the cabinet was describing. It's very shameful that in a hospital they still deliver babies using bush lamb in hospitals in a country like Cameroon that is producing energy. It's very shameful that I leave my office at Polytech and I spend over an hour to reach Canal Day office at the 2D. It's very shameful that it's very shameful, and it is also very shameful that journalists are still being jailed for expressing their views. It is very shameful. The lawyer is here that we still punish press offenses with jail terms and so on. But we should give Bia the credit that I can also say this. Then I go home. So there is some level of freedom of expression, but I don't even know whether I'll reach home because I don't know my freedom after the expression.
I think you will reach home. Dr. Fula, when you listen to what they say, let's look at how has the CPDM ideology maybe affected Bia's role? Because some find it very difficult to distinguish between the head of state and the CPDM militant, and CPDM militants that you are as well.
The head of state is, how can I say, at the helm of the country.
Of course.
The CPDM
voted beyond the CPDM because some Cameroonians who are not even militants voted.
Yes, the head of state is elected by so many Cameroonians. We have our political allies, we have so many political, we have the G20 over there, do a wonderful job. So, but what I wanted to say, nobody told that this is a paradise.
Okay.
But if you are Hyncenth, if you are an honest man, if you are a rational man, can we compare the situation in 1982 to the situation of today? Nothing. You have so many improvements.
Okay.
Both here and even abroad. So we know that we have a diaspora who is voting.
We do.
Who is voting nowadays, our diaspora. So you have a total freedom of speech. You have so many improvements, economic, political, social, cultural, even sport domain. So many improvements there.
Okay.
So sometimes I am surprised by what I used to listen to some of our opponents or some of the political analysis. You know,
you listen to the three of them speak. Is there a false picture they painted in any of the domains?
No, according to me, there are so many exaggerations.
Okay.
So many exaggerations. You know, the late Professor Joseph Oyona used to say that if you want to, to put a question to know the speed of the railway to the lion and to another animal, you have to respond. That means that for us, we recognize that there are so many weaknesses.
Okay.
There are so many mistakes. But we must be honest to recognize that since the arrival of the head of state, His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, there have been so many improvements.
Okay.
And the better is to come. You know, this is a country. This is a country. Even I heard Dr. Ayon a while ago. You know, the United States, these are all democracy. They are talking like, okay, in 1 year or 10 years you can transform or you can metamorphose. No.
Okay.
This is a progressive action.
Everything in Cameroon is progressive.
And we need, how can I say, we need the collaboration of all our compatriots by doing
something
constructive critics.
Okay.
Okay. What I want to say.
Okay. Please.
40 years.
You know.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Yes. Try to land, please.
2 days ago, Hyncenth, I was. You were in the United States Embassy, and they were so proud by saying that we don't know whether you are a politician or you are so-called politician. I didn't comment to insult. Do they know, how can I say, what they are doing for their country?
Okay.
Even abroad, you cannot hear an American insulting and trying to tarnish the image of his country. First of all, it tried by recognizing the improvement and then trying to, how can I say that we can improve.
Okay, thank you so much.
When we are listening to them,
okay, thank you so much.
It's a time of howling.
Okay.
They say everything is bad.
Thank you, thank you.
This country is in the hell of the hell. We have
thank you, Dr. Fuller.
Satan or the hell of the country.
Thank you, Dr. Fuller. I just want to say, for time constraint, if you have a pertinent point to make and you feel more comfortable in French, you can do it. Okay. From now on. Barrister, I wanted to ask you, he listed a couple of institutions that the head of state has put in place. Can we say BIYA'S presidency has affected those democratic institutions of this country?
I don't know the institutions that he has put in place.
He talked of the Constitutional Council, he talked of the Senate.
He talked about the Ministry of Territorial. Let me start from Elections Cameroon, Ministry of Territorial Administration.
Yes, please. Yes.
That organized elections.
He has a mic, please.
Let me say something.
You have the Senate.
Dr. Fuller, he has a mic, please.
The Senate.
Yes.
I want to know.
Yes, please.
What any institution created by Mr. Biya.
Please, Dr. Fuller, we are rather wasting time. If we.
Any institution created by him has put bread on somebody's table.
Okay.
What has the Senate done to reduce price of rice? What has any of these institutions done to put food on people's table, to make the livelihood of Cameroonians better? We are saying that for 40 years somebody has been in the presidency. Of course there has been changes. The changes is that he's been getting older and older, and the things are getting worse. Okay. You cannot be president for 40 years and you say that you have not done anything. He has done something. But as compared to what is happening in other countries...
Please, let him land.
Let him
land. I'll give you time to talk, please. Yes.
As compared to what is happening in other countries. You cannot be looking at Cameroon as in isolation. Look at what is happening in Ivory Coast. Look at what is happening in other countries where things are evolving. Than to a country where youth of a country will carry placards supporting a 90-something-year-old person to continue as president. I'm sure in your village you have an 80-year-old person there. Can you just tell me how you discuss with that 80-year-old person in that village? How does he reason? What I'm saying is that Mr. Biya is being punished. He has been held hostage. They should liberate him.
Who has held him hostage?
He is not the president. Those who are working beside him are holding him hostage because they know that if he is not there, they will not eat tomorrow.
Okay.
They will not have food to eat.
Thank you so much.
That's why they are protecting him to be there. We have to bail him.
Thank you.
That man is suffering.
Thank you so much. Dr. Eyon, please. Dr. Fuller, please. Dr. Fuller, please.
It's the head of state.
Please, we have limited time. Yes. If we talk all at the same time, we will not be able to get through. Dr. Eyon, I want us to look at the leadership styles and policies of the head of state. How it has impacted the poor development that we have.
Well, you see, first of all, leadership is accountability.
Yeah.
Leadership is effective presence. Leadership is forecast. Leadership is planning. And leadership is also transparency. If you take, for example, President Paul Biya, it looks like by his nature, according to what his collaborators and people from the party say, is that he's a very discreet person. They say he's a discreet person.
Yeah.
And a discreet person is not very good for the post of a president, especially for a developing country, on the basis that he needs to always speak when he is needed to speak. Okay? He needs to always go out when he has to go out. For example, in the early days of President Paul Biya, it used to be alleged that he used to drive around town like his predecessor used to do. He used to drive in town.
You should have visited Dschang.
Okay? And whenever he did so, he noticed certain things that were not well done. He copied that from his predecessor. But after some time, they closed him up on the basis that he doesn't need to go around. He will be getting direct information. He is the most informed Cameroonian. And that has led us to where we are. Now, let's take the case of accountability. When people say that there is corruption, for example, it is not us who said it. The president came up himself and said he is very disturbed with what his collaborators are doing. Because he doesn't understand what, and to prove that, he created anti-corruption institutions.
So many. You have CONAC.
No, we are coming.
You are coming, please.
Now, those people who, the CONAC institution, when you ask them, what happens to your report? You people are not working. They say, no, please. We are not a court. We have been given a limited responsibility to write our report and forward to the president. That is what our creation rules and regulations says. It is the president to decide who to. So we are out of it. That is what CONAC officials tell you, rightfully. So it means the CONAC reports that have been going up have choked the president to the point where, with the other many reports that it becomes difficult for him to execute which one. Take again the case, for example, of energy production. President has given room for about 4 different dams to be created. Menvele, Menkim, Naktigal. None of them is finished as we speak now. None of them has respected and Lompanga. None of them has respected the time frame for the construction. The president himself went to Ebolova in 2011, Abba Pastoral Show, gave instruction and said, I will personally supervise the Ebolova and come to Kribi Road, that he will personally supervise. The Abba Pastoral Hotel, that the president was not completed. They completed it 9 years after the president even said that I will supervise it 9 years after. These are facts.
At least it is complete.
It is complete. 9 years after. Let me come.
Yes, try to learn, please.
Okay. You know, sometimes, as they said, our duty when you call some of us on platform is to give them things we have seen elsewhere that have worked. I don't mean Europe. I'm talking in Africa that have worked. And they know that it is possible for it to work. And if they think that we are only criticizing what we are saying without proposing, that is why they're missing all. And we did not say Cameroon is hell. We said we are capable of having a cow, but we have been given a goat. Only a foolish man will accept a goat when the capacity to get a cow is there. And we are saying that with the human resources and natural resources that Cameroon has, we deserve to have a cow and not a goat. That does not mean we are at zero. It means we are not where we are supposed to be.
Thank you so much. Eugene, I saw you nodding your head. As a reporter, you must have reported on many of these promises. Are there some that you've reported as many times as possible? And today, we cannot say it has reached the finishing point.
Ring road. The ring road. The ring road is today, the authorities are struggling to see that the ring road is materialized. A project that was supposed to have been accomplished several years ago. And I tell you what, they are doing this because we know that next year is crucial. So that they come and do the ring road and then use it as a bet for next year to say, okay, we have fulfilled a promise. But after how many years? After how many years?
In 2011, he said, like Dr. Ayon was saying, I will personally supervise the ring road. Yes.
The PM went and came back and said the funding is available after the crisis, when the crisis was at the peak. And immediately I go back, work will commence.
Work will commence and all of that.
The funding was not available.
You know, all of that, the Babaju Bamenda Road, the ring road, these are projects that were supposed to have been completed way long ago. But we are still talking about them being executed currently. But we thank God that finally they are being executed. We are talking about a president President Biya, who came to power and said he wants to be remembered as someone who brought democracy. Democracy goes with the respect for human rights.
For human rights. He did not initiate.
We have seen what Cameroon has been going through for 42 years. There's been gross violation of human rights. The most recent is what we saw that happened to Longue.
Please, I will give you the mic to talk. Please, I will give you the mic to talk. We don't have time.
I did not stop you.
After him, I'll give you the mic to talk.
I did not stop you.
Not after him, he will speak like.
If you have anything to do, jot it down. I'll give you time to talk, please.
When I was listening to you, it doesn't mean that I agree with what you say, but as a gentleman,
you have to listen to him as well, please. Okay? Yes. Go on.
We saw what happened to Longue. All right?
Yeah.
That is a video of 5 years old. Imagine what has been happening to other people. Imagine the torture, and Cameroon is facing the UN committee on against torture on Wednesday next week.
Yes.
And they are going to be talking about that. If it could happen to Longue and then it stays for 5 years and nobody knows, what about others? Go to the Northwest and Southwest. What is happening there in the Northwest and Southwest is unbearable. We have seen rights group, we have seen NGOs report on the gross human rights violation, including Abobala's Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa. They have been documenting all of it. And this is somebody who says he wants to be remembered for democracy. What democracy are we talking about? A democracy that has to do without the respect for human rights, a democracy that is characterized by torture of citizens.
Okay, we heard the Minister of Defense after the Longue case said they are going to carry out thorough investigation to punish the culprits.
We have several announcements. We have had announcements of investigation.
We hope that this time around, we hope that this time around something will be done.
What you are saying, I want to say that they should remind the Minister of Roads or the Minister of Works and Mr. Biya that the person who received his oath as President of the National Assembly at the time when he was being sworn in, there is no road going to his place again. If he cannot even honor him, at least he should do that road that is going to his place. There's nothing. I don't see why.
You're talking about Solomon Tande Muna.
Okay, Doc, I will be coming back to you, Dr. Fuller. Yes. Please, before you take the mic, I want to say we are not fighting.
No.
It is we are here to educate Cameroonians.
Thanks to the head of state.
We are here to educate Cameroonians. So you wanted to react to what Eugene was saying.
Yes.
You have the mic now.
First of all, I want to ask. First of all, this is not his name. Longue is not his name.
Yes.
First of all,
I'm calling the name that
that's his artist. That's the name of the artist. Please.
The artistic name.
That's the name of the artist, please.
You are a journalist. If you can put him two questions. First of all, why he didn't? How can I do a kind of? When you are accused of something, you have the capacity, you have the ability to go to the court. Why he didn't go to court? Ask also to Longue what he went to do to the Sawa Hotel, Douala. I don't want to go further. But now, I want to talk about the Northwest and the Southwest. I grew there, Hyncenth.
Okay.
I am very proud of my brother and sister coming from the Northwest and the Southwest. But the head of state, he has done more than
in his second home.
Please let him know.
You have a institution there who don't exist in the French-speaking part of the country. You have there the houses of chief. You have the independent public mediator. You have the common rule there. You have a whole commission in charge of multiculturalism, bilingualism.
That's for Cameroon. That's not for the Northwest or the Southwest. Please.
I want headed by the talented men and women coming from the Northwest and the Southwest. You have a commission of discernment and so on and so forth. You have even a kind of...
Now, when you look at those commissions, Dr. Fuller, when you look at those commissions...
Not the commission. I talk about all of the...
When you look at those institutions and then you look at the impact in the life of a common man, do you see the impact?
Time spent in the presidency.
Yes, you are seeing improvement.
For 40 years.
I am not a spokesman coming from the Southwest region, but you see improvement. The population are tired. They are hijacked by a minority of, how can I say, I don't want to say Hyncenth or something like that. A minority of men who are there, who are hijacking the population. There are problems everywhere.
Okay.
Hyncenth.
Dr.
If
Fuller,
you are going to the far north region, everywhere.
Dr. Fuller, Dr. Fuller, let me ask you this, because this may be your last time you are talking. When you look at the current economy of Cameroon, do you see Paul Biya as a hope to quickly redress the economy that we have?
We need improvement.
Yes.
First of all, we need proactivity. I totally agree with Dr. Ayon. Proactivity. We need the economic intelligence. We need talented men and women. We need young men and women. We need a government reshufflement. So these are the reform we need.
Beyond all that you have listed, do you see President Paul Biya as a driving force that can redress our economy from the state where it is right now?
What I want to say, there is a mistake concerning the casting of the collaborator.
Okay.
There is according to me.
Okay. From what I get, he needs to restructure the government.
Yes.
Okay.
Not only the government,
Barrister?
the collaborator of the head of state. According to me, some of them.
Okay.
Some of them
yes.
are not up to date.
Barrister, we are almost
they are
moving.
Not at the level of the task.
We are almost moving.
The current
Supposed.
I'm very happy
we are moving out of time. We are moving out of time, Barrister, as the opposition.
Yes.
Have you been proposing policies to the state? Because even as opposition, you have a role to play. Have you been proposing policies to the state? And
we are in parliament.
What has the feedback been like?
We have been proposing anything proposed by the opposition. It's a bad thing in Cameroon. We even proposed that they should join the Commonwealth. It was a bad thing until some people they got to invite experts from abroad to come and tell them that you cannot be claimed that Cameroon is a bilingual country. And then they are not, they are not in Commonwealth. Of course, I cannot accept to enter a train, even a bike or a bicycle, that is being controlled by a 90-year-old person. He cannot rule Cameroon. He is not even ruling Cameroon now.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Ayong, legally, BIYA'S has over a year to finish his mandate. If there is that one thing that he has to do, maybe to leave a legacy, if at all he's not voted in 2025, what would that be?
Effective decentralization.
Okay.
If it does effective decentralization, we can have a 30% possibility to move forward, because that is one of the strangling aspects of this country. The resources are focused between Douala and Yaoundé, not even Central Region and Littoral, Douala and Yaoundé. And that is stifling the effective work, even from councils. And I could just add the second one. We have talked about the issue of the people, the casting, that is the people that he uses. You go to a council, for example,
Thank you, please, no time. Eugene, your last words?
Well, my last words will be that President Biya should consider. It is not a crime going on retirement. It is not a crime. Going on retirement is not a crime. Yeah. All of us will at one point go on retirement.
And it is not punishment.
And we know that retirement age, as per the most recent in Cameroon, is 60 years. But we are having somebody who is 91, getting to 92. He should also consider getting some rest and retirement. Yeah.
Thank you. If you miss out on anything, Dr. Fuller, if you miss out on anything, the rebroadcast of this program is on Wednesday at 11 p.m. Until we meet again next Saturday, stay safe and stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Thank you.